And we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. We already got some comments up in this thing. Sammy B, what's happening, brother? Sammy B, what's up? Dylan Landry, what's happening, guys? What is happening? We know that we're making it a good day. What about you guys? That's all that matters. Now, we got a lot to get into. We got a whole hell of a lot to get into, y'all. LSU, Missouri moved to Columbia. Your boy coming out with the news at 9 a.m. You got people going everywhere saying, Blake, the game ain't getting moved, you Rudy Poo. But, guys, the game has been moved. The LSU game has been moved to Columbia, Missouri. So we will talk about that. What happens now? Does it change the game? Of course, I do think it changes the game a little bit. An 11 a.m. kickoff, I mean, that's early. Boy, that's really early. We'll talk about that as well. Stephen Miller, let's go, baby. Let's go. Marvin Maggie says, already, what's good, fam? What's happening, brother? What's happening? Go Tigers. 11 a.m. GD. You're right, brother. You're right. 11 a.m. kickoff for the Tigers. That's not good, bro. That's not good. We don't like that. We don't like that. But we got a good show in store for you. Before we get started, as always, guys, do us a favor. Please hit the like and hit the share and share into some groups. We are growing a very big podcast over here at the Are You Serious Sports Network. We're trying to build a small empire. Don't forget to go to our YouTube page, Are You Serious Sports, and to subscribe and hit the little notification bell there as well. Drew DeArmond from 97.7 The Game from Talking Ball is going to be joining us around 7:20. We're going to go around the SEC with Mr. DeArmond, a really, really, really good guy, a really, really good football guy. We'll be talking to him. Let's see. Chris asked what channel. I would suspect the SEC Network channel is where it's going to be played. But nevertheless, Drew's going to be joining us. It's really fun every time that we bring him on. We're going to talk some LSU, some Auburn, some Alabama, and we're going to get in that with him. Also, we have some more news that we might be getting into. Not sure. We'll see as it goes on. But we will break down the Saints versus the Chargers on Monday Night Football. Boy, was I wrong. I will come on here and admit it when I was wrong about one thing. You're going to want to stay in tune. I know all you do. What was Blake wrong about? He's always wrong. But anyway, we'll talk about that. And the NBA Finals along with Major League Baseball playoffs, we'll get into that as well. But, guys, as you already know, we greatly appreciate all our sponsors and none more than our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons. GM Varno & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, truck repair, routine maintenance, tire sales, tire rotations, tire repairs. No job is too big or too small for Mr. Trey Varno and company. Go see him at 2500 Florida Boulevard in Denham Springs, Louisiana, 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And, guys, as we've been telling you over the last couple of weeks, the best real estate firm in the North Shore. They're killing it. They're knocking it out of the park. Go to team.kw.com. That's team.kw.com. If you're looking to list your home or you're looking to buy a home because your family is always growing, give them a call at 985-467-7355, 467-7355, and tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. Okay, we do have some breaking news as it's coming out. Due to Hurricane Delta, it does appear that the LSU game, LSU versus Missouri game, is going to be moved to Columbia. A lot has been going into this. We had on Mitchell Forty from Power Mizzou on last night. We went back and forth talking about it. He said that he had heard some rumblings about this game already being moved. We heard it last night and this morning as well. And if you did not see that on Twitter at AYS Sports, you can follow us there. But we reported that we were hearing not only from Missouri sources, Mitchell Forty backed that up with Power Mizzou, and we were hearing around LSU that they're more than likely that they were discussing at least that this game is going to be moved to Columbia. I was a little shocked on the time, the 11 a.m. kickoff. But, guys, look, we have football. we have football. The things that suck about this is LSU's losing a home game, right? Like, that does stink. In a season where every game in your conference is going to matter, I still believe that the Tigers, the LSU Tigers that is, will go up there and win. But, man, I don't know how comfortable I feel right now that the Tigers completely run away with it like I was talking about yesterday. I don't know about that. Go Tigers. What's up, Esteban Ruff? Before we get rolling, let's go Stros. Boo. Boo. Yeah, look forward to the game on SEC Network. Look forward on SEC Network. Marvin Mackey, Vandy, South Carolina is slated for the SEC Network at 11 a.m. currently. Yes, that is correct. So it would seem that they are going to change that slot. For whatever reason, it seems that they're going to be changing that slot. I don't know. Guys, I wish I could tell you why. I wish I could tell you why that's happening, but it looks like they're definitely going to be changing it. Inside the Swamp, what's up, Nick? What is up? Yep, thanks. Yep, sure is. Doug Diassi. I hope I'm saying that last name right. Diassi? Is that right? Could be a slow start for LSU Saturday, but they'll get it right and win. Stay safe down there. We appreciate that, Doug. Yeah, I think it could be a very slow start for LSU, guys. Look, it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. Look, you go from an 8. How crazy is it that you're going from an 8 p.m. home game to now an 11 a.m. kickoff game on the road? But as Ed Orgeron always says, guys, it don't matter. We'll play you in the parking lot. What does Young Jock say in that old song when we were growing up? Meet me in the mall. It's going down. Yeah. But look, I think LSU is going to be geared up and ready to go. The thing that I'm going to be interested to see, look, this is the third different set of offensive line that we're going to see, meaning that there is a new starter. Charles Turner, we expect, is going to be starting at left guard. That's 3 different lineups for this offensive line that we've had in 3 weeks. Something that I'm going to be watching out for, especially as good as the offensive line played last week against Vanderbilt. You hate it and you don't want these injuries, but Ed Ingram being out is a big deal for the Tigers, right? A very big deal. I've gotten a lot of questions about Cardell Thomas and Anthony Bradford. Guys, I don't know. I have absolutely no clue why they're not playing. None whatsoever. So I would suspect it's mainly due to the fact that these guys aren't ready to go. Cardell Thomas is coming off an injury. Thomas Perry does not look like he did get moved from tackle to guard, but he's not going to go. Charles Turner, who really came in, at 240 pounds, is now getting the start at 280 pounds for the Tigers at left guard. So hopefully that they're able to go out there and make it okay and be okay. And I think that they will when you have a really, really good center and a very experienced center in Liam Shanahan, the Harvard transfer. Dan Turner beat out Bradford and Pancake. He did, and I don't know how much, honestly, Marvin, it's due to talent. That's really the question I've been getting all day from when Ed Orgeron made the announcement that Charles Turner is going to be starting for LSU this Saturday. Take it for what it's worth. Hopefully those guys can come back out and do some good things. Dylan says we'll play in the pasture. We don't blink. That's right. And look, as we're breaking this game down for Missouri, and I don't know what the week holds for us, but I'm going to say this. Missouri's defense is not good. They're not good. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't really stop anything on defense right now, y'all. Now, they can generate a little bit of a pass rush, a little bit, but outside of that, they're not really good on defense. Does your offense get on that plane and travel with you? I think that they will, and LSU is going to be able to put up a lot of points. That's just a thought. Now, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, a lot's changing. These kids are still 18 to 21, 22 years old. So it's a lot to be putting on their plate. Jamie, look around 9 a.m. tomorrow for it to be official on the SEC Network at 11. Yeah, a real official SEC decision looks to be coming at 9, but Missouri, and I'm expecting LSU here shortly, will be naming it. But Missouri's coming out and saying that game is being played in Missouri. You have multiple people. We got the word too. WAFB, I think maybe right before we came on, said that they've already booked hotel rooms in Columbia, meaning LSU. The game's being played there. Have to be WTF. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, they have a lot of promise. I'm not saying that Cardell Thomas and Anthony Bradford aren't going to be good and not going to be great for LSU, but right now they're not in the starting lineup. Charles Turner is. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Hopefully he can hold up. Coach O said before the season Bradford was having an outstanding camp. He did, but he also said that he's got to lose some weight. Look, and let me say this. It's the pot calling the kettle black. I ain't telling the man to lose no weight. I know I could lose about 50, 15, 30, 37. So you will get the ESPN slot at night. That's crazy. So who will get the I guess South Carolina Vandy. I mean, guys, your guesses are as good as mine on this breaking news right now because I don't know. I have no idea why ESPN's changing that game. I would assume, and I'm just assuming here, but you get LSU out early, and possibly if they're able to come home early, they would want to do that because, guys, you got to understand, a lot of these players' parents and families live inside of Louisiana, and I'm sure they were going to want to come back home. What else you don't want is those kids staying there all day long. Man, Baton Rouge is getting hit. Lafayette's getting hit. That's just a thought. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get some clarity. The opinion is what I'm worried about with our defense being so young. I predicted a lot of missed assignments. You could, but, man, they're getting better. You got Connor Bazelak, who's going to be the starting quarterback for Missouri. With that being said, I think this defense will be okay. I think that Connor Bazelak can rip it. The kid's got an arm. He can be very deadly accurate. Look, he made some throws against Tennessee, Esteban, that were, man, look, those were NFL-type throws. So we'll see about that. Maybe Thomas and Bradford aren't healthy. I don't know, man. Or Blaine, they probably got beat out, man. How do I want to say? They just got beat out. Let's just put it like that. Charles, hurt how? They're not hurt. I mean, I know what you're saying, Blaine. I know what you're saying, but they're not hurt. Everyone joining the show, we greatly appreciate it. On Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Do us a favor on Twitter and Facebook if you're there. Hit that retweet and hit that share. We will greatly appreciate it. Chad said Stingley coming back will make a big difference, ? Yeah, I mean, it did Saturday. It certainly did Saturday. I mean, look, they targeted him, 2 times? One of them was a Rudy Poo pass interference call that shouldn't have happened. I mean, come on. Chris, what's up, man? He says, absolutely. Why not move that game to Shreveport considering it will still be in the state? Nick, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. The thing that I would assume here, and it's a lot like in 2015. Guys, you remember in 2015 when LSU and South Carolina, they were supposed to play in South Carolina. Due to some flooding in South Carolina, they moved that game to Baton Rouge. I think you're going to want to do one or the other. LSU will be able to get or Missouri, rather, will be able to get the resources out, security, people that need to work the event, especially now with COVID-19 and all the protocols that you got to work. I think that they'll be able to establish it a little bit better. They won't throw at him. That makes a huge difference. Yep. Colin, what's happening, bro? Jennifer says, Blake Ruffino, that's me. When do you think TJ Finley will finally see a little bit of playing time? I'm not sure. I mean, look, in this 10-game SEC slate, I wouldn't, unless you're blowing a team out, like blowing them out, I wouldn't expect another quarterback. And, the games that you had slated in Vandy, well, they didn't play. Arkansas is not going to be a pushover anymore. I mean, you're going to look, they took Georgia to the wire. Did you see that Georgia team last week? I mean, just absolutely obliterate Auburn. So I don't know, Jennifer. It's a good question. I don't know. Their ego probably hurt. Effort outperformed talent. Maybe. Heard Dumerville was ahead of Turner and Evans to going into the season. Yeah, but Evans moved back to the defensive line. He's actually started the last 2 games. They're going to lock him down at one of the tackle spots. I would assume more at right tackle behind Austin Deculus, and you saw what Cam Wire did last week. What's up, Gino? Chad says, true, which gives your other guys more pressure. True, and you saw what happened with Elias Ricks. Elias Ricks, 2 weeks, 2 picks. Look, he had a freshman-like first half against Mississippi State. He comes back and has the pick, puts LSU in a chance to take the lead. They're not able to against Mississippi State. They get the field goal there to tie it, and then last week has another interception along with Todd Harris. So I think that he'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. Running around like a chicken with my head cut off before everyone else starts getting nuts tomorrow. Yeah. Man, all of y'all be safe, man. All of y'all be safe. We're hoping that everyone is safe. You know, we live just outside, technically, for most of you that watches around the state. We live, around the Hammond area. So in between Hammond and Baton Rouge. So everyone stay safe. Everyone stay safe. One other thing that I'm going to be looking out for too is, do they simplify this game plan for this team? I mean, look, you already got your game plan in. The only difference is now it's a road game. It's a road game. I don't think that they change much. I don't know what else that they really can change. I hope that everyone is able to watch the game. I hope everyone's able to watch the game, because that would be sucky. Hey, we're getting hit by a hurricane and we can't watch the LSU game. So Drew DeArmond from 97.7 in Huntsville, Alabama is going to be joining the show. We're going to go around the SEC. We're going to talk to him a little bit about some more stuff around the SEC, what he saw last week. We will get him here right now. So bear with us. We're going to get Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball from 97.7. Let's give him a call now. Chad asks, has the stadium been affected?
Ringback tone while your party is reached.
Oh, we got a ringback tone.
Hello.
Mr. Drew DeArmond.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? It's Blake Ruffino. How are you tonight, brother?
Good, Blake. How are you, bud?
Oh, man, I can't complain. We were jamming. Everybody that we're on live with right now, we're jamming to that ringback tone, man. We're jamming, brother. But we're doing good, man. Drew DeArmond from 97.7 Zone, or not the Zone, but 97.7 in Huntsville is our guest. You can follow him on Twitter at DrewD977 ESPN. Drew, getting right into it. What did you think about Alabama in the first 2 weeks? What did you see from them? What did you like, and what did you not like?
Like, it's good to be with you, man. I mean, I really liked the offensive execution. I mean, I thought they were balanced. I thought the offensive line played well. I know there's been some concern about the running game in game number 2, but the running game is something that usually don't catch rhythm until, closer toward the middle of the season. That's what Alabama did last year. First of all, I just have really been impressed with the passing game and the chemistry between Mac Jones and the receivers, and certainly they've protected him. But I've really enjoyed watching this offense kind of grow, watching Steve Sarkisian spread the football around, watching Jalen Waddle take on a larger role in the passing game to complement Devontae Smith and give Alabama, I think, the best duo in the SEC. So it's just been neat. I mean, I think Mac Jones has kind of been undervalued throughout this whole summer. Everybody's talked about Bryce Young. He's the number one prospect, in the country, number one quarterback and things of that nature. But, Mac has been kind of an anomaly. He's stuck it out. He's waited his turn, and he certainly is developing, I think, into a frontline starter in the SEC.
I completely agree. Look, we talked, Drew, month and a half, 2 months ago, and something about Alabama getting back to running the football, and they certainly did. And Najee Harris has been good. The offensive line has been really good, which isn't surprising, right? It isn't surprising, but I'm not shocked, and I think that Mac Jones has done really, really well. Some good things that they did, Drew, and maybe some not so good things. What have you seen that you think that Alabama needs to clean up moving forward?
Well, I think they need to clean up some of the penalties, especially the pre-snap stuff. They've had some false starts. They've had some illegal shifts, things of that nature, illegal formation. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, you do have kind of a get out of jail card with Jalen Waddle. We saw that in the 2nd and 22 play, against Texas A&M on Saturday. It's almost like he's got video game speed, but again, you can't depend on that. So they need to clean that up a little bit. Defensively, I think they've stopped the run. I wanted to see them get back to being dominant against the run. They've been good so far for 2 weeks, but they've got to work on getting on the field on 3rd down. They've been victimized there a little bit in the 2 games. And, of course, I think the safety play has been a little suspect. We saw Daniel Wright, make 11 tackles in game 1, but he whiffed a few times against Mizzou. Though that was the first start of his career, his 2nd game, he does get a pick 6, but at the same time, he missed an assignment on a sudden change after an interception on the tight end. They called the touchdown pass, and he had a chance. It wasn't his guy. I mean, it was a miscommunication that looked like with a linebacker, but he's got to knock Anaya Smith out of bounds and not give up the 47-yard touchdown.
Agree.
That's got to be, that's got to be a stop around the 30, so you can give your defense a chance to regroup. You've got to play a little bit more physical, but again, overall though, the secondary, when you think about Malachi Moore, the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week, being a guy that was in high school last year, he's played at a high level, and I think they've gotten good cornerback play from Patrick Surtain also and Josh Jobe, who looks much improved. So overall, though, I think it's been solid. If you want to nitpick, you could say, well, the punting has been so-so, but hopefully this offense isn't going to have to punt a lot. I know Georgia's coming up, and that might be a situation where you might have 5 or 6 punts, but you hope not. But again, I think overall, if you look at it, I think Alabama has got some things to clean up on both sides of the ball, but the list is short, and I think they're playing at a pretty high level.
I think they are too. And look, 2 things more about Alabama. We're going to kind of talk a little bit more about the SEC. We talked about this too the last time we spoke. Drew DeArmond, our guest, about Pete Golden. Look, Pete Golden was at Southeastern Louisiana, where I'm an alum of where I played, and I thought that he would clean some things up. What is the biggest jump that you've seen from this defense, in your opinion, from last year to this year? And I know it's only 3 games, but in your opinion, what's been the biggest jump?
Well, I mean, I think it's just the balance defensively. I think they look faster on all 3 levels. I mean, when you've got LeBron Ray and DJ Dale back, I mean, who missed the majority of the season last year, Dale on the nose, and then you've got obviously LeBron Ray back from a severe foot injury at defensive end. And then, in the linebacker core, you've got your leader back, Dylan Moses. He struggled a little bit in coverage last week, but again, he hasn't played Mike that much, and he hasn't really had to cover. His main job in this past game was spying on Kellen Mond and keeping him from hurting them with his legs. He did that quite a bit the last 2 years. If you saw on Saturday, he didn't do that a whole lot. So I think having Dylan back, having Christian Harris with a year of experience, he's played very fast. And I'm going to tell you something, too. Outside linebackers, I know they lost Terrell Lewis and Anthony Jennings, but I've been really impressed with Chris Allen. I think he's been the most underrated guy off the unit so far. And then we've seen Will Anderson live up to some of the hype as a freshman. So I think it's a better linebacker core. I think it's deeper. I think it's more talented. And then I think so far the communication issues, there's been a couple of miscommunications, but it hasn't been as glaring. And I think the defensive line for Darian Mathis, another kid you're familiar with in the state of Louisiana, I thought he had a really good effort. The coaching staff was very high on, how he played this past week. And then guys like Byron Young, and they've gotten now a healthy and hopefully more focused Christian Barmore. They're developing a second group along that defensive line to rotate in, and I think that's going to be big for Alabama going forward. So I think the defense overall, I would probably have given it a B+ after rewatching the entire game on Sunday. Some were being critical of it. But Blake, defense has changed. It's what it's about. It's about being disruptive and forcing turnovers, which I thought they did against Texas A&M. Now, to me, dominant defense is if you can hold somebody to 17, because you're not going to shut people down to 10 or less anymore. There's too many explosive offenses, and Alabama was really close to doing that if they could have avoided turning the ball over themselves and giving A&M a short field.
I agree with that 100%. Woody Woodenhofer, who was at Vandy and came to Southeastern and actually recruited me a little bit. Quick side note here, he told me on a recruiting visit one time, he told me, at least, and this is, what God Drew, 12 years ago, and he said, Blake, Blake, I'm going to tell you this right now. If I keep a team under 17 points and the way that these offenses are running now with this air raid, something that you kill roaches with, that's what he thought the air raid was. That's how bad he thought. He said, if they only score 17 points, I've done my job. I completely agree with you there. Completely 100% agree with you there. Let's shift to here because we're having a lot of people ask inside of Twitter, especially Lane Kiffin versus Nick Saban. When I watched the show the other day and I was listening to you guys, and I know you broke it down, but to our fans and the RU Syrians, what do you see and what are you going to be looking out for for Lane Kiffin versus Nick Saban coming up?
Well, it's going to be the matchup, as far as kind of the head games. I mean, Lane's a great offensive mind. He's done a really good job at Ole Miss thus far, getting Matt Corral to develop and become more consistent. He's an underrated athlete. He was their leading rusher last week with 51 yards. He was 24-29 for nearly 300 yards, brought his team back from a 28-14 deficit. He put up video game numbers against Florida, so he's off to a very good start. They've got Yeboah, the graduate transfer tight end from Temple that he's getting involved. He did the same thing with O.J. Howard at times with big plays. Mingo had a big game last week, Elijah Moore. So he's identifying weapons. Jerrion Early seems to be the running back of choice, and he's a former five-star kid. So they're very productive already on offense. Defensively, they're really not much better, if not worse, than they have been. They've really been struggling. They took some steps forward last year. They may have regressed a little bit this year, but I think it's more of a personnel issue. It's not a really good matchup against Alabama, so it's going to be interesting. I think Lane's best bet in this game would be to control the ball, but that's not his style. He wants to, move it. He wants to score points. And right now, I think Alabama, defensively matches up pretty well with what Lane wants to do. I think, Nick Saban knows Lane as well as Lane knows Coach Saban. So it's going to be a fascinating matchup. I personally think Alabama's going to win big, about 51-17. I think they're going to be able to pressure Corral, maybe make him make some mistakes. And then I think they're going to be able to take advantage of it. And I know the weather's a concern right now. We'll see. I know LSU's game has now been moved, according to Brody Miller, to Missouri. It will be interesting to see if they move the Alabama game up or down, or if they even moved it to Tuscaloosa. But regardless of where it's played, I just think right now that Lane Kiffin's team will move the ball some. But if Alabama can play good red zone defense and once again be disruptive, force 2 or 3 turnovers, I think it's going to be a long day because Alabama needs to get their running game going. And hey, the Ole Miss defense gave up 400 rushing yards to Kentucky last week.
Right.
I'll quote Vern Lundquist from back in 2005 at the Alabama-Florida game. This ain't Kentucky. They're about to find that out on Saturday.
Right. Drew DeArmond is our guest. I agree with you there. Look, we can confirm from what we are hearing too that the game's going to be moved, the LSU Missouri game, to Columbia, as well as at 11 a.m. kickoff time. That game was slotted to be at 8 p.m. in Tiger Stadium. So I don't really know how that affects everybody else, but that's what we're gathering here. Drew, let me ask you this too, because I listened to you guys and I knew that you were talking about this. Man, I know that Auburn's offensive line at times struggled last week against Georgia. But, man, even Kirk Herbstreit was talking about this during the game. Bo Nix at times has to stay in the pocket and deliver the ball. Have you seen really any progression with him over the last year and a half? Or am I the only person that thinks that this kid has not really developed at all?
Well, I haven't seen much improvement. I think he's not trusting his offensive line. And quite frankly, I'm not quite sure the offense they're trying to run fits his strengths, which is he has a good, not great arm, and he's extremely, I would say he's got great intangibles. He's got a lot of moxie. But I think with Bo, you need a short, controlled passing game, and you need a running game to complement it, kind of out of a spread system. He has underrated athletic ability. He can run it a little bit, but you don't need to really be running zone read. I really think what you need is one of the old Bill Walsh offenses where you're a short, controlled passing game and you run the football. And with Gus Malzahn, it's a documented fact. If you cannot run the football, no matter, what your offense looks like, he's not going to be successful. He's never been a guy that, just threw the ball around 40 and 50 times. They always needed to run it and play action. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward if he and Chad Morris can get on the same page, because he's given Chad Morris the offense, but Chad Morris's MO doesn't really fit what Gus Malzahn has done in his coaching career. And I'll tell you what, I said this last year when I saw Arkansas inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. That was one of the 3 worst teams I've ever seen, probably in the SEC, because I've been watching it. There have been some bad Vandy teams, but that Arkansas team did not want to play for Chad Morris. And I'm going to tell you what, they're going to come to Jordan-Hare Stadium, and those players, it's going to be personal. They want to beat Chad Morris, and I don't think Arkansas should beat Auburn. Auburn's the more talented team. But if they were to shock the Auburn Tigers, I'm going to tell you what, the heat would be turned up on Gus Malzahn in a hurry.
1,000% agree. Drew, I got laughed at. I don't know. This is about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I said that Arkansas offensive line is going to attack and dominate people. And look, to my credit, I went out on a limb. I just watched some games. I saw when the beginning of the season, they were running the football somewhat effectively, but you could tell that, like you just mentioned, they did not want to play for Morris. They just didn't. And I think you're right. They're going to want to make this personal. I don't know if they're going to beat Auburn, but it's something to watch out for. Drew DeArmond is our guest. You can follow him, as you're seeing on the calling card right there, from 7 to 9 every morning on 97.7 ESPN. And you can follow him on Twitter at DrewD977 ESPN. I'm going to throw this a little bit at you, and I'm not sure how much, because, we cover a lot of LSU as well. What have you seen from LSU in the last 2 weeks, or really, or I guess 2 weeks, yeah. But what have you seen from them, and what have you liked and maybe not liked so much, and what you think that they need to improve in?
Well, I think, first of all, the opt-outs have really hurt them. I mean, and all the talent they've lost to the NFL. I mean, I think it's been a big adjustment going from Dave Aranda's scheme to Bo Pelini's. And, Bo, he made the mistake of coming out the first week and went man coverage, didn't mix anything up against Mississippi State. And then KJ Costello got hot, and it was like shooting fish in a barrel. Now, I think they've done some pretty good things offensively for the most part. I mean, we knew that Miles Brennan would have some bumps in the road, and he has, but I think it's been really, interesting to see, the development at wide receiver by Terrace Marshall. I think he's becoming comfortable as the number 1 guy. I mean, I think overall, and first of all, thoughts and prayers out to John Emery's mother. I heard about that after the game. I didn't know that it happened during the game. I was following the Alabama and Auburn games, but certainly I think he's got a chance to have a good year running the ball along with Tyron Davis-Price. I think they've got 2 good backs. Now, the offensive line is probably going to continue to be a work in progress. And again, you don't usually hit your stride until middle of the season. I thought they bounced back and handled Vanderbilt. It took them a second half to get rolling, but they certainly did that. Mississippi State, I mean, I just think overall what Coach O is learning, and again, he's done a great job of adapting and changing, especially since when he was at Ole Miss. But it's so different when you're the hunted and you're the national champ.
100%.
You get everybody's best shot. I mean, you're everybody's they circle you the game on the schedule. I mean, before the season starts. So you're getting the Apollo Creed from everybody. So and that you have to get really used to that, to being kind of hunted. And I think I think they're going to be okay. I wonder a little bit about Bo Pelini and his scheme. I think he may need to make some adjustments, or it may just take another year for LSU to change some things from a personnel standpoint to get back to playing a 4-3, because really Coach O has always been a 4-3 guy. He's an old defensive line coach. They did a lot of that at Southern California. Bo had a lot of success his first go-round when he was with, of course, Coach Les Miles. So I just think overall, I still think LSU's going to have a good football team. Certainly, I think it might only be maybe a 7-3 type deal, maybe 6-4. But I still think they got a good shot to get better. And I want to see when they have another chance against a quality opponent. And they're going to have, with this all SEC schedule coming up, they're going to have those opportunities. But I still think I said this during the summer. I'm not going to underestimate Coach Orgeron, and I'm not going to do it now, even though they lost to Mississippi State, because State turned around, didn't handle themselves well, and lost to Arkansas. Arkansas really, to me, has been the biggest surprise what Sam Pittman has done. He's really transformed them. Barry Odom's done a great job with their defense, and my Lord, they were bad on that side of the ball last year. They're not great offensively, but they're kind of maximizing what they got. If they can get Treylon Burks back, and Rakeem Boyd, they might have a chance against Auburn. But I think overall, if you're LSU, I still think they're too talented, even with all these personnel losses. And I think LSU is going to play better football on the back end of the schedule. But right now, they were with all the personnel they lost and losing Jamar Chase because again, he was going to play, and then a month later he decides to opt out a month before the season starts. They're still adjusting to that. So I still think LSU's been pretty impressive, and I still think they're, to me, a top 3 team in the West.
A couple of fan questions here, Drew, and Drew DeArmond's our guest. A couple of quick questions, and we'll get you out of here. Dylan Landry on Facebook Live asked, #Ask Drew, who's the best team in the East and why?
Well, I would say right now, until they beat, Georgia, I would say the Dogs. And some people are going to say Florida, but right now they've got major issues defensively through 2 weeks. Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts have been amazing. Don't get me wrong. I think their running game's getting better. Their offensive line looks like it's the best in 3 years under Dan Mullen. But I'm still going with the Dogs because of that defense. I mean, they've had one really bad drive, in 2 games. And Felipe Franks hit a deep ball to Burks. Other than that, they shut down Arkansas, and then they dominated Auburn. And their offense is not that flashy so far. And who would have ever thought, 3 or 4 months ago that Stetson Bennett would be the quarterback? I mean, all I heard was, 2 or 3 years ago, they had 2 first-round picks in Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm. Of course, one was a 4th-round pick, one was the 5th. It never developed. Then all I was told was that Jamie Newman was going to be a Heisman candidate and a future first-rounder. He won't play down for Georgia. And now you've got JT Daniels, who we still haven't even seen. Some people have called him a first-round pick. I even had Mike Griffith on my show, and I respect Mike Griffith a lot. He's been around the business and covered many different beats. He said DeJuan Mathis was a future first-rounder, and he certainly didn't look like it. So now you've got Stetson Bennett behind center. I mean, he's a guy that's dreamed about being the QB at Georgia. He doesn't wow you physically, but he doesn't get you beat, and he's efficient. And, they started to run the ball better against Auburn, they're going to have to be their formula with that defense. I don't really see a lot of change in the offense, so I'm going to be fascinated to see, what they do against Alabama in a couple weeks. But really, I'm going to be fascinated to see this game against Tennessee, because I tell you what, I thought Tennessee was on upset alert against Missouri, but they physically whipped the Tigers and looked really good doing it. I want to see now if they can hang with Georgia. Last year, that was a complete mismatch. I want to see how much progress they've made. So we're going to see, man. I want to see how much better Tennessee is. But right now, I would still lean to Georgia being the best team in the East, followed by Florida, and then Tennessee.
That was the next question. One more, and we'll get you out of here. Is Stephen Miller says, #Ask Drew, how's my boy Slade Bolden looking? Also, do you think that Tennessee extends the nation's longest winning streak this weekend? You touched on that, but how's Slade doing, as a lot of Louisiana people are wanting to know?
Well, I've been kind of surprised. He hasn't got a reception in the first 2 games. He was back there on punt return once, made a fair catch. When they took Waddle out for one time and then gave Slade an opportunity back there, and he went back there as the safety, made the catch. I thought he would have been targeted a little bit, or maybe even used on an end around or something to that nature, but he hasn't been. He just needs to be patient, because even with a freak like Waddle, it's hard to feature 4 receivers. Last year, we saw Judy, we saw Ruggs, and then we saw Devontae get most of the touches. And then toward the end of the last half of the season, Jalen Waddle started coming on strong and getting more involved in the offense. Hopefully that's going to happen with Slade. I still really like the kid. He had a really good, fall camp, we heard, and made some plays in the scrimmages. I'm wondering if they're going to start to get him involved. But I still think he's the number 4 receiver, and I'm anxious to see, what he can do. And with the way teams are kicking away from Waddle, I'm hoping maybe they're going to start doing the dual safeties, and we might see Slade get a chance to return some punts. But he's a dude that I've always liked. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and I'm hoping his role will expand, as the season goes on. And real quick, I know they wanted a prediction. I got Georgia over Tennessee, but I'm going to say it's close this time. I think it's going to be Dogs 24, Vols 17, and Kirby will get ready for Alabama.
Drew, it's always a pleasure, my good friend. You are absolutely as amazing as always. Tell everybody where they can find you. I know they saw it on the calling card, but where they can listen to all your stuff and where they can follow you.
Yeah, they can follow me on Twitter at DrewD977ESPN, and they can also go to our station account at 977ESPN. All of our content is on our website, which we've had up now for a couple of months. We're excited about it. We continue to add content every day, and that's 977ESPN.com. Also, go to the App Store, download our app. We've got a new app we've had out now for about a month. You can go to the Google Store or the Apple Store and download that. Really excited about it. And, of course, we always enjoy the conversation. We appreciate you letting us be on with you again, Blake. And we look forward to speaking with you before the action all gets cranked up on Saturday when we have our special Saturday show, and we're going to feature you and talk some SEC football.
Awesome, Drew. You kill it as always, man. We'll talk again soon, brother.
Thank you, Blake.
Have a good day. That's Drew DeArmond from 97.7 Zone out in Huntsville, breaking down just the entire SEC. We greatly appreciate him joining the show. Before we get to our next segment and we call it a night, we got to get to a couple of our sponsors. Our good friend John Patton from Area Home Lending. Guys, with all of the new help from the Federal Reserve, you got to call him right now. If you're looking to buy a home, get a home, a new cash out refi, or the timing has never been better. Go call my man today, right now, 225-663-2500. That's 225-663-2500. And then look, after that, you're going to work yourself up an appetite. 748-5555. Go see our good friends over at the Boston. The best seafood in the North Shore, the best steak in the North Shore, the best sushi in the North Shore, the Boston. With some limited seating, give them a call and make a reservation today. Tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. Look, I got to say this. Drew DeArmond kills it, bro. He kills it every single time we have him on. He's a blast to have on. I greatly appreciate him. Before we get on out of here, I teased this a little bit. I teased it a little. So I got to tell you guys where I was wrong. The Saints are going to be playing the Chargers this Monday night. At least we are hoping they're going to be playing them this Monday night on Monday Night Football. Man, let me throw this out here to you guys. And I don't know how wrong I was, but through the first 3 games that he's played, he's really, really looked good, and that's Justin Herbert. Now, all of you know that we bring on Little Rifkin. I say Little Rifkin, but Jonathan Rifkin from Just Recruiting. He always comes on our shows. Just like this guy. Just like this guy does. Say, hey, buddy, you're on live. Say, hey, look, say, hey. Say, hey. You just drinking your bottle? We got to make sure that he doesn't open doors, man. Like every time I'm doing the show, he'll bust up in here. Say, what's up? And then he'll walk out. Tell him bye-bye. 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 Oh, is my wife going to make a guest appearance? We're just having a whole family affair here. Come on, Megs. Stephen Miller on Facebook Live says, bring Megan on. She's in her jammies. She's going to kill me. Love you. Mwah. All right. But Ben Ruffino making a special appearance. How about that? How about that? Doug says, thoughts on Sam Pittman? Oh, that was for Ash Drew. My bad, Doug. He said, thoughts on Sam Pittman, only 2 games, but the Hogs have looked solid so far. Doug, I completely agree. I completely agree with you there. They've looked really good. I love this, and I know that Charles Hanegraaff came up with it. Stitzit Bennett IV, a.k.a. the law firm. God, that's just so good. It's so good. But back to this Justin Herbert thing, 72% completion percentage, 931 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 picks. Dude, I was wrong. And y'all can go get Jonathan Rifkin. You can tag him in. Let him know. Let me tell you something, too. The Saints have always been horrendous against rookie quarterbacks. Does Robert Griffin III ring a bell? because he just completely lit us up. Does Marcus Mariota ring a bell? And this defense isn't world beaters, y'all. I think that this kid comes in and lights it up. Now, Austin Eckler being out is a big deal. I don't think that they come in and beat the Saints on Monday Night Football. That's not what I'm saying. But look here. You might have to outduel this kid because Tom Brady found out last week, hey, this kid's going to go out there and he's going to sling the football all over the dome. He's going to sling the ball all over the field. He's got a really good receiver in Keenan Allen. I was wrong about him. I thought that he was highly inaccurate. He reminded me too much of Josh Allen. Big arm, not a lot of accuracy. And this kid comes out and slings it, y'all. My mom says, sweet baby, the sweet baby ever. Maybe she means to say the sweetest baby ever. But, yep. We know what you're doing, Cookie. You're running over there every time Ben's name comes up to see if he's on camera. We know. All right, well, let's go ahead and get on out of here. We're about 50 minutes in. Guys, do us a favor. Don't forget to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go over there and put in Are You Serious Sports. That's Are You Serious Sports. Hit that subscribe and notification bell. We're going to be doing some more clips, too, from some of the shows that we're breaking down. So don't forget to do that. Guys, my name's Blake Ruffino. Stay safe. We will break down again, or we'll see you again tomorrow. Zach Pearson, the former LSU pitcher and the great, is going to be on live stream with us. You're going to be staying tuned for that. But until then, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.